2, 1. All right, we are on the record today because there was a petition for emergency removal filed yesterday. After hours, I did review that, sign that, and authorize the department to remove the child, in this case, a newborn infant, and place the child into foster care given the content of the petition. Today, we've come together to conduct a preliminary hearing that is required to follow that within 24 hours. The attorneys have appeared and had the opportunity to meet with each of their clients, which are the parents, respondent parents in this case, ahead of today's preliminary hearing, which I appreciate. I've received a jury demand as it relates to both parents. And I've been informed that they would like the opportunity to have the petition read aloud onto the record. So I think that covers what I've understood to be happening so far. I have the names of our participants, beginning with our guardian ad litem.
My apologies, Judge. I couldn't get unmuted there quickly enough. Bill Underwood, legal guardian ad litem for the minor child.
Michael Brooks, I represent mother Jacqueline Lomas. Jacqueline?
Hello. Welcome.
Michael McFarland, representing father. Please tell the judge your name.
I am Dakota Harmon Duckworth. I am the father.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Harvey.
Sarah Harvey for the department. Thank you. All right, Deputy Ames, would you swear in Dakota Harmon Duckworth and Jacqueline Lomas, please?
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, I have to ask each of you a number of questions. So that's why I've had you sworn. Is it true, Mr. Dakota Harmon Duckworth, that you wish to have a jury trial on this matter?
Yes.
You do have the right to a jury trial, both of you do. And during that, the department would have to prove the allegations by a preponderance of the evidence. You have the right to an attorney. You'll have an attorney at each hearing. Okay. And that attorney can help you and decide whether or not to call your own witnesses, to cross-examine witnesses brought by the department, and of course, to help you decide whether or not you want to testify yourselves.
I would like to testify myself.
Okay. Well, let me go through and I'll let you know when I'm ready to ask you a question. All right. So you have the right to have the petition read, which I am happy to do for you today. You also have the right to seek placement or return of your child to you, and the right to admit or deny the allegations in the petition and make a statement of explanation. Do either of you have any reason to believe that you have that you're members of a Native American tribe or band, or that you're eligible for membership, or that your child would be eligible for membership? Mr. Harmon Duckworth.
Not that I would know. My dad was kind of dark skinned, but I don't know if he was Samoan or not. So.
All right, Ms. Lomas, are you a member of any Native American tribe or band, or
No.
know if you have eligibility for that?
No, I do not.
Okay, very good. I know that your child is very new, but are there any other cases out there that would concern your child, like a guardianship, for example?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is that okay? Very good. Okay. All right, well, and then at this time, I will go ahead and read the petition for you onto the record. So the first page, well, let me ask you this too. Dakota Harmon Duckworth, do you have a copy of the petition?
Right here.
Good. Ms. Jacqueline Lomas, do you have a copy?
She may not. We only grabbed one of them, I think.
I have to ask Ms. Jacqueline Lomas this question. Ms. Lomas, did you receive a copy of the petition?
I'm sorry. I don't. I think my lawyer grabbed one. Did I grab one?
No. I asked you if you had one.
Oh, I do not. I do not. Actually, I do not.
Wait a minute. I did ask her and she said, yes, she'd seen it and she read it.
Oh,
Yes,
I read it. I read it, but I did not grab it. I'm sorry.
Well, you don't have to have it with you right now. I just want to make sure you have a copy somewhere.
Yes, I have a copy somewhere.
Okay. All right. Very good. So what it says is it's a petition for child protection proceedings, specifically as it relates to Silas Harmon Duckworth. And I'm going to omit his personal identifying information. The next paragraph identifies the parents, Dakota Harmon Duckworth, a respondent parent, born 11/16/1999, residing on Winter Street in Adrian. The child is, again, I've identified him already, and the mother is identified as Jacqueline Lomas, also a respondent parent, also residing at the same address in Adrian, date of birth 1/29/2000. The second page indicates there are no pending or resolved cases within the jurisdiction of the Family Division of the Circuit Court involving the family or family members of the person subject to the petition. 4, the named child comes within the provisions of MCL 712A.2B1 through 6 as follows. Specifically indicated are paragraphs 3 and 4. The parent or other person legally responsible for the care and maintenance of the child, when able to do so, has neglected or refused to provide proper or necessary support, education, medical, surgical, or other care necessary for the child's health or morals, or has subjected the child to a substantial risk of harm to his mental well-being, or has abandoned the child without proper custody or guardianship. The second allegation of violation of the statute is the home or environment by reason of neglect, cruelty, drunkenness, criminality, or depravity on the part of the parent is an unfit place for the child to live. Paragraph 5, the reasons why it is contrary to the welfare of the child for the child to remain in the home. Medical personnel expressed concerns for Jacqueline Lomas's cognitive ability to provide basic care for the child. Jacqueline did not find out she was pregnant until 3 weeks prior to giving birth. She does not initiate care for the child and needs prompting for all basic needs. Dakota Harmon Duckworth has mental health concerns, which he refuses treatment for. This includes homicidal ideation. He's very volatile and aggressive with staff. There are concerns for the safety of an infant. Paragraph 6, the reasonable efforts made to prevent the removal of the child include CPS investigation, care pregnancy center, medical treatment in hospital, continuous infant care education by staff. The specific allegations in paragraph 7 are in an attached addendum. This particular page contains the request in paragraph 8 to authorize the petition, take jurisdiction over the child, issue an order removing the child from the home. We're signed, of course, by Sarah Harvey and Nastasia Thomas, and authorized by myself on August 20th, 2024. The attachment reads, addendum to petition for protective custody and jurisdiction as to respondent parents. Jurisdiction and venue. Jacqueline Lomas is the biological mother of the subject minor. 2, Dakota Harmon Duckworth is the legal father of the subject minor. He signed an affidavit of parentage at Promedica Hickman Hospital. No filing number is available at this time, but will be requested. 3, the subject minor is not a member of or eligible for membership in an American tribe, Native American tribe or band. Jacqueline Lomas and Dakota Harmon Duckworth were asked on 8/19/24 and denied that they or the subject minor have Native American heritage. 4, the subject minor is a resident of Lenawee County, Michigan. The subject minor is currently located at Promedica Hickman Hospital in Adrian, Michigan. 5, the incident of alleged neglect occurred in Lenawee County, Michigan. Factual allegations, neglect and unfit home environment. 6, on 8/17/24, CPS received a complaint which alleged physical neglect of the child by Jacqueline Lomas. The complaint included the following information. A, Jacqueline Lomas did not find out she was pregnant until she was 36 weeks. She gave birth at 39 weeks. 7B, during these 3 weeks, she presented at the Hickman ER on 3 separate occasions. Subsection I, on one occasion, she reported that she thought her baby had died because she had urinated. II, on another occasion, she thought her baby had not, quote, eaten, quote, inside her that day, despite the fact that she ate a whole pizza. Subparagraph Roman numeral 3I, on another occasion, she believed her baby had disappeared because she felt a hard pit in her stomach. 8, EMTs who transported Jacqueline from her home to the hospital reported to the ER staff that they found the home to be, quote, unlivable, quote, with garbage throughout the home. The parents were sleeping on a dirty blow-up mattress on the floor. At hospital admission, both parents presented with head lice. 9, hospital staff report significant concerns for Jacqueline's cognitive ability to care for the baby. 10, Dr. Amy Hammond is the baby's pediatrician. She expressed concerns to the worker and provided a written document which is included with the petition. See Exhibit 1. 11, professionals believe Jacqueline lacks the ability to provide basic care to the child. She has been given instruction on feeding and diapering multiple times and continues to struggle understanding or participating in these basic actions. Dr. Hammond reports that this is well outside the normal understanding of first-time parents. 12, Jacqueline struggles to answer yes or no questions without long pauses to think. She will often guess when she does not know the answer. 13, OBGYN Dr. Baird reported to the worker that Jacqueline was unable to answer simple postpartum questions. such as how much bleeding she was experiencing or if she had used the restroom since the birth. 14, Dr. Bear also expressed concerns regarding Jacqueline's cognitive functioning. 15, Jacqueline is unable to maintain a feeding schedule for the child. 16, Jacqueline does not make efforts to hold the child or to bond with him. She is not attentive to him without prompting and assistance from staff. 17, when the child begins to fuss or cry, Jacqueline becomes highly agitated, which is a concern for his safety while at home. 18, Jacqueline reports that she sees a provider at ACPC. These records have been requested but not yet received to confirm this. 19, Jacqueline was referred to prenatal neurology and maternal fetal medicine due to taking seizure medication throughout her pregnancy. Jacqueline made no attempt to see either specialist. Dr. Hammond finds this concerning given the numerous appointments and medical care that newborns require. 20, there are no alternative arrangements available in the parent's home to adequately safeguard the child. 21, Dakota Harmon Duckworth and Jacqueline reside together and intend on raising the child together. 22, Dakota reported to the worker and hospital staff that he has a diagnosis of anxiety, bipolar disorder, suicidal ideation, and homicidal ideation. He reports that he refuses to seek mental health treatment from providers because they want him to, quote, try different things, quote, which he refuses to do. He provided the example of deep breathing and reported, quote, I don't have the cognitive function like that, quote. 23, Dakota reports that he uses THC to control his mental health. He reported that this is not medical marijuana. He reported that he needs to be, quote, zoned out, quote, all of the time to be calm. 24, while at the hospital, Dakota repeatedly exhibits aggressive and volatile behaviors. Security has been called on him. On more than one occasion, these behaviors were triggered by someone asking him to safety plan around his marijuana use. This is something he has yet to agree to. 25, there are concerns about domestic violence in the home. Dakota self-reports that he has aggression issues, screams and yells often, and argues and fights daily with Jacqueline. He reported to the worker that the baby will see this daily. 26, Dakota reported to hospital staff that after they reported that he had lice, he went back to his home, had a panic attack, banged his head against the wall, and then shaved his head. 27, it is unclear if Jacqueline has the ability to provide for the child's material needs. 28, Jacqueline receives SSI payments. Her mother, who resides in Washington, is her payee. 29, reasonable efforts were made to safety plan for this child, including searching for relatives to assist the family. 30, the family has no family supports who live in the area. The family members reside in Washington. 31, the child is medically ready for discharge. 32, placement with a licensed foster home has been secured for the child. Statutory citations. 33, statutory grounds for adjudication. Based on the above stated allegations, jurisdiction is proper under the following subsections of MCL 712A.2b. The child are under the age of 18, and A1, the child's parents, when able to do so, neglect or refuse to provide proper or necessary support, education, medical, surgical, or other care necessary for the child's health or morals, who is subject to a substantial risk of harm to his mental well-being, who is abandoned by his parents, or who is without proper custody and guardianship. And B2, the child's home or environment with either parent, by reason of neglect, cruelty, drunkenness, criminality, or depravity on the part of a parent, is an unfit place for the juvenile to live in. 34, statutory grounds for removal. Based on the above stated allegations and pursuant to MCL 712A.13A9, removal of the child from the respondent parent's care and custody is necessary, and placement of the child into foster care is necessary as the following are true. A, custody of the child with the parent presents a substantial risk of harm to the child's life, physical health, or mental well-being. B, no provision of service or other arrangement except removal of the child is reasonably available to adequately safeguard the child from risk as described in subdivision A. C, continuing the child's residence in the home is contrary to the child's welfare. D, consistent with the circumstances, reasonable efforts were made to prevent or eliminate the need for removal of the child. E, conditions of the child away from the parent are adequate to safeguard the child's health and welfare. Relief requested. 1, authorize this petition for protective custody and jurisdiction as to respondent parents, Jacqueline Lomas and Dakota Harmon Duckworth. 2, issue an emergency order removing the child from the care and custody of his parents, Jacqueline Lomas and Dakota Harmon Duckworth, placing the child in the care and custody of the department to be placed in a licensed foster placement. 3, take jurisdiction over the child pursuant to MCL 712A.2b1 and 2, and 4, set this matter for adjudication trial. Respectfully submitted, Nastasia Thomas and Sarah Harvey for HHS 2024. There's an exhibit that was attached and served with the petition that I'm not going to read. It's not been incorporated into as part of the petition, and it is available for the parents and their attorneys to review. There is also the order to take the children into protective custody in the file at this point. And there is a proof of service indicating that Dakota Harmon Duckworth and Jacqueline Lomas were served with the petition, notice of this hearing, and the ex parte removal order personally by Hannah Trout on August 20th at 8:25 p.m. We'll ask Ms. Trout in the future to put 8/20/24, but that's all right. Okay, so I've received a request for jury demand for both parents in this file, so I'm happy to schedule that. As it relates to the preliminary hearing itself, I have already authorized the petition. Any testimony as it relates to placement pending the jury trial request? Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. If Ms. Harvey can be sworn in, please.
All right. Sorry, I'm sure.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. All right, before we begin, gentlemen, obviously your clients each have the right to decline or waive the probable cause aspect of this hearing for purposes of removal or placement. But I'm also aware of the concerns on the abilities of your clients to be informed on those pieces.
My client wishes to proceed with probable cause hearing, Your Honor.
I'll go along for the ride because you're gonna do it anyway.
Well, Mr. Brooks, I think it's imperative that we ensure that we follow the protocols here, especially given I'm not sure that your clients, based on the information I have, can really afford to waive any of their rights to that, frankly.
That is a concern of mine as well, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Thomas. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Harvey, where are you currently employed?
Lenawee County DHHS.
And what is your position there?
I'm currently a CPS investigator.
And as a CPS investigator, is that how you became familiar with this family?
Yes.
And did you draft the petition that is before the court today?
Yes, I did.
And you heard the judge read the petition into the record?
Yes.
And is everything that the judge read into the record that you signed to accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
Yes, to the best of my knowledge.
As the investigator in this matter, how did you learn about, or what tools did you implement to learn about the allegations that you put into the petition?
This referral came in over the weekend, so an on-call worker had actually commenced this. So on Monday, when I was assigned, I read through the allegations and the referral. I also spoke to the on-call worker who went to the hospital and met with the parents, and I spoke to multiple medical staff at the hospital.
Do you have an opportunity to speak with the parents?
Yes, I did on Monday.
Okay. And when you spoke with medical professionals at the hospital, what concerns were brought to your attention?
In regards to the mother, there were major concerns that they had noted regarding a possible lack of cognitive function and her understanding of basic needs for her child. They reported that they had to multiple times explain simple tasks like diapering. They did not feel that she, after multiple attempts to educate her, could understand a feeding schedule. One example was that a nurse indicated that she thought that Miss Lomas could feed her child, but she did not think that she would remember when she fed him last, or how much he had eaten at that time, and she didn't believe that she would wake him up at a set time to feed him. That was a major concern of theirs. They also had major concerns regarding her bond with the baby. There didn't seem to be much bond or a interest in bonding. In regards to Dakota, there were major concerns regarding a number of events in the hospital unit itself in which there were major aggression issues. He left the hospital on multiple occasions because he was very upset. That's what was reported to me. He also would speak over Jackie when Jackie was asked questions. When they were trying to gauge if Jackie had an understanding, he would answer for Jackie, which made it very difficult for nursing staff to understand. He also explained some mental health diagnoses, which were very concerning, and explained that he was not seeking mental health treatment for those, that instead he chooses to smoke marijuana. There were multiple staff members that had various conversations with him in which he became aggressive. At one point, he postured towards a hospital staff member. So safety and security became a major issue in that regard.
During your investigation, who informed you of Miss Lomas going to the hospital during her pregnancy and not really have an understanding of what it was like to be pregnant?
Hospital staff, they had updated me on the number of occasions in which she had presented in the ER and what she had presented for. I have requested those records in full, but I have not yet received them.
What were the concerns of those prenatal visits to the ER?
They quoted, I can quote them as saying they were irrational concerns. They did not feel that they were concerns that a typical first-time mother would present to the ER for.
I apologize for that. And what can you just elaborate a little more on what those concerns were?
Yes, at one point, as was read in the petition, it was reported to me that she came to the ER and indicated that she thought her baby was dead because she had urinated. Another instance was she was having a panic attack and a paranoia moment, that she didn't believe that her child in utero had eaten enough that day. And I believe there was another incident in which she felt that she had lost the baby, that the baby was dead because there was a pit in her stomach.
Did anyone report concerns about the living environment of the family at that time?
Yes, when on my first discussions with hospital staff while they were updating me from things over the weekend, hospital staff told me that when EMS had dropped her off in the emergency room, the EMS workers had indicated that their home was, in their words, unlivable. It was very dirty. There were.
I'm going to object, and I realize that hearsay is allowed, but this is compounded hearsay. This is what the nurses were told, but EMS, this worker was told by the nurses. So I think it's not probative because it's so far removed. That's my objection.
Would you like to respond, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, I think it speaks to the concerns of the department that the home environment is an unfit place for the child to reside. And I understand Mr. McFarland's concerns, and it is on us at trial to secure testimony from those witnesses according to the court rules.
Yes, duly noted, Mr. McFarland, but the objection is overruled because hearsay is admissible at this stage.
Thank you.
All right, you may finish your answer.
They had indicated that the parents were sleeping on what they described as a dirty blow-up mattress. And nursing staff also indicated to me that while they were in the hospital, nursing staff was having to clean up their room because there were dirty diapers inside their hospital room on the floor. There were numerous bottles after they would be done feeding the baby, they would just leave the bottles laying around. So nursing staff were having to clean up after them.
As it relates to the baby's pediatrician, what were some of the concerns that are highlighted? I know that they are in the petition, but there's also an attached letter. And I believe that did you also speak with Dr. Amy Hammond?
Yes, I did on more than one occasion.
And what were her concerns for this family and the safety of this child?
I'm going to reiterate Mr. McFarland's objection to hearsay on hearsay.
Same response, Ms. Thomas, or anything different?
Same response, Your Honor.
Very good. The objection is overruled, but duly noted. Thank you.
I spoke to Dr. Hammond myself, and Dr. Hammond told me that her concerns regarded mom's cognitive ability. She felt that she had on numerous occasions attempted to explain how to make a bottle using formula, and it seemed after numerous times, mom still did not seem to grasp that concept. She had major concerns for Jackie's ability just to provide basic care for the baby. She had concerns that Jackie did not attend either one of the specialists that she was referred to, and that a newborn requires a lot of medical care, especially this child didn't receive prenatal care. We don't know what medical conditions may come up soon. She was concerned about the parent's ability to make and keep appointments and care for the child. She was also concerned about the safety issues with the father in the hospital.
At some point in time, Ms. Lomas became ready for discharge, correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
Was the baby also ready for discharge at that same time?
The baby medically was ready for discharge. However, Dr. Hammond did not discharge the baby due to continued social concerns, which revolved around the fact that she did not feel that Jackie had yet grasped the concept and understanding of feeding and diaper changing and basic skills.
Did you observe, or did medical staff express concern about Ms. Lomas's ability or willingness to bond with the child?
Yes, more than one hospital staff indicated that they felt there was minimal attempt to bond. She would hold the baby, but you would need to give the baby to her to hold, that she didn't want to pick up the baby, that when the baby cried, she often wanted to hand the baby to someone else because she became very anxious and panicked when the baby cried. There was also very little skin to skin when he was first born. She did not participate for very long in that.
In any of your investigation, did you discover any adult guardianships over either of the parents?
No, there are no adult guardianships that I know of, but I do know that Ms. Lomas has a payee.
A payee for what?
She has indicated that she receives Social Security income, and she has a payee for that income.
And did she indicate why she receives Social Security income?
She herself did not. Dakota interjected and said that she received Social Security due to the fact that her father had died, and her mom also told me that she received Social Security because her father died.
Are you familiar with Social Security income payments?
A little.
To the best of your knowledge, does an individual over the age of 19 receive Social Security payments for a deceased parent?
To the best of my knowledge, no, not without them having some form of disability acknowledged by Social Security itself.
Is it standard for a recipient of Social Security income to have a payee without having an underlying disability themselves?
No, it's not standard.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. I'd like to voir dire because she says she's somewhat familiar, yet she's going into quite some detail. I would like to know what her familiarity is because she's already testified she's only somewhat familiar.
You are more than welcome to cross-examine Mr. McFarland, and I will be happy to let you do that after the conclusion of the direct examination.
Thank you. Ms. Harvey, one of the notes or one of the allegations is that the department provided reasonable efforts by searching for relatives. Can you just provide a little more information on that point?
Yes, I asked and discussed with both parents, relatives, who their supportive people were, et cetera. Jackie indicated her mom, who is here visiting from Washington State. I had heard also someone say her sister, so I asked her about her sister. She named a sister named Erica. She said she doesn't really talk to her that much, but she had 6 children and she had helped her raise them in the past. Dakota indicated to me that he gave me his mother's name. He indicated that he had been in and out of foster care growing up. He also has a sister named Brandy. He believes she lives in Utah, but he's not really sure. It appears that all of their other supports live in the state of Washington.
You indicated that Ms. Lomas's mother is present today.
Yes,
Is there concern or would there be a sufficient safety plan if she were to stay at the home with the family and the child?
I do not believe that it would be enough of a safety barrier. When I had discussions with Mrs. Lomas or Miss Lomas, when I brought up my concerns, she minimized my concerns. She had multiple excuses for certain behaviors. There were moments where things were very contradicting. For example, Dakota's aggression. She would report that right now he's doing well and she hopes that he continues on this path, but yes, indicated he does yell. Yes, he does scream. Yes, in the past few days, he has had to leave the hospital because he is very aggressive. So there was a lot of those contradictions. When asked about cognitive function of Jackie, she reported that there were no cognitive issues for Jackie. And it seems, based on medical personnel's opinion, that there may actually be more than we are being told.
Based on the information that you gathered in your investigation, do you believe that there is a substantial risk of harm to the child's life, physical health, or mental well-being?
Yes.
And generally speaking, I know that you've testified a lot to this. How would you summarize that risk?
I believe that there's a risk for neglect of basic care. And I believe that there is a risk also of domestic violence in the home, even if it is just verbal. And I believe that there could also be a major safety concern, since Dakota has indicated he does have suicidal and homicidal ideations and they're not being treated.
Thank you. And the child is currently in a licensed foster home? Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Okay. And are there any safety concerns within that foster home?
No, not to my knowledge.
Do the foster parents have a basic understanding of infant care, to the best of your
Yes.
knowledge?
Yes.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination, Mr. McFarland?
I do. This foster care home, are they a potential adaptive placement?
I believe so. I think that that's one of the first questions that they talked about permanence with the licensed foster care home. I believe that. I can't completely speak to it.
You don't know that personally.
Correct.
It's not written down anyplace,
Not that I've seen.
so we don't know.
Someone may know. I myself do not know.
Oh, I know you received HIPAA training, which is what medical records you cannot secure, correct?
Yes,
My understanding is you can't just ask doctors questions without getting some type of authorization, correct? Or an order, or a form, I should say, a form by the state, correct?
yes, Miss Lomas signed a 1555.
Mother signed this?
Yes,
Now, your petition indicates you have some problem with her cognitive abilities, correct?
Mhm.
Is that yes?
yes, medical personnel have concerns regarding her cognitive abilities.
So how can you have her sign a form authorizing if you have concerns regarding her ability to make decisions?
She has no other legal guardian, therefore she is her own legal consent.
So you don't think her cognitive abilities impair her enough that she does not understand at least what a release is, correct?
She understood what I was getting. She does not have a guardian. I have no other way to legally stop her from making her own decisions.
The doctors expressed to you that they had concerns with her cognitive abilities, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that any testimony concerning mothers, any discussions with medical staff regarding mothers' medical conditions be stricken, as there's been testimony from this worker that the medical field believes that mother lacks capacity, and yet she signed a release. I don't think we can pick and choose capacity. I think there's if the claim is she lacks capacity, then I don't think she has capacity to sign a release. So that's my objection to the testimony regarding any medical experts hearsay, and that I think it would actually need capacity to sign a release.
Would you like to respond for the record, Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Harvey has testified correctly that until or unless there's a judicial determination that this individual does lack the capacity, we have to honor and respect any releases that she signs or any information that she provides, because she can make her own decisions to the best of our knowledge. If Mr. McFarland would like to adjourn this hearing and get his client or mother or whoever screened for that cognitive impairment, and we can go through an adult guardianship process, we are happy to oblige with that.
Leave that to Mr. Brooks to make that call as that's his client. But it
Okay.
does involve my client's child also, is why I'm raising these objections.
So I'm going to overrule the objection because she doesn't have a guardian that we're aware of, and Ms. Harvey as well within her bounds, as she described, to ask her to sign that release if she so chooses. And the other reason we're here and your clients have a right to a trial is because there is a presumption that they are able to be fit parents unless that can be proven otherwise. So this is a preliminary hearing to determine whether or not they are fit, and the investigation into that and those records are a necessary part of that. I will not be ruling on mom's capacity or lack thereof. I am frankly not really concerned about that. I'm concerned about whether or not she can provide a safe environment for this child. Secondarily, I do also, by the same token, I'm not responsible for a guardian, even if one of your clients may need one. Frankly, I'm here just to determine whether or not this child can be safely returned to the parents, or if other provisions need to be made. So that's what I'm prepared to listen to. And so that's why your objection is overruled. And I'm certainly not going to allow Ms. Thomas to engage in looking into guardianships for the parents either.
Thank you. You did have a conversation with mothers, with the maternal grandmother who's here in court, correct?
Yes.
Did you ask her about Native American heritage, the ICWA issues?
No, I don't. I did not ask her about Native American heritage.
Any reason why not? If your belief is that to qualify to have a payee, there maybe some type of mental issues, is there any reason, or fit any disability issues, is there any reason why you haven't asked maternal grandmother?
To be honest, it was just policy to ask parents. I didn't, she seemed very knowledgeable of her answer. She explained to me her ethnicity and her Hispanic heritage in that conversation.
You indicate that maternal grandmother was using excuses to my client, was your testimony, correct?
There were excuses for some behaviors, yes.
Those excuses also be categorized as explanations as far as
You
my
could
client.
say that. They were her opinions of explanations, yes.
Are you the person we would ask regarding supervised visits, unsupervised visits? Are you the person who would have an opinion, or is there somebody else who'd have an opinion on parenting time for my clients and my client in the interim?
I believe that myself and a foster care worker would both have opinions on that.
Is it true that you're asking for supervised parenting time?
Yes, we would.
With a newborn, at least 3 times a week, 2 hours a visit, is that what you're expressing?
I myself would request whatever the current standard is for visitation, and I do not know what that is at this time.
Any opinion as to mothers, the maternal grandmother as being a suitable supervisor?
Due to some of the concerns, we would actually like a supervisor to be, due to bonding and things like that, perhaps someone more therapeutic, maybe Brene Moore would be a suitable supervisor in this instance.
My client tells me that somebody was over there just the other day from the agency and inspected the home, and it does not appear to be disheveled or disorganized or filthy.
That is correct. Grandma indicated that she cleaned the house.
Did you view the house?
So, yes, I did.
So the house right now is
Right now,
suitable.
yes. Yes, it is.
So that's not a detriment to return the child to the house as far as cleanliness,
Not
right?
today, correct, not today.
Okay. It appears to be appropriate for return of the child, at least safety wise and cleanliness wise. Would that be an accurate statement?
The home itself, yes, today.
Transportation, do the parents have issues with transportation?
Yes, I believe they do.
What would the agency be able to do to assist them with transportation for parenting?
That would be a foster care question. I don't exactly know what all of the standards are right now.
Is there a worker here today to testify to that?
Yes, there is a foster care worker here today.
Okay.
Mr. Brooks?
How old is this child?
3 days.
4 days?
4 days old. Alright. And where is the foster care home where the child is at?
I believe it's in Blissfield.
You indicated my clients have transportation issues. Where do they live?
They live in Adrian.
And what are their transportation issues?
I believe that they do not have transportation. I don't know specific reasons why.
Have you asked, or has anyone checked to see if they have driver's licenses?
I know that Dakota does not have a driver's license. The identification that I saw was just an identification card. And I'm not exactly sure. I know they don't have a vehicle. I'm not exactly sure it's the driving license status of Miss Lomas.
All right. Now, you have indicated in your testimony several references to cognitive disabilities with regard to my client. Is that right?
Cognitive impairment was what the medical staff were saying to.
Thank you. Are you capable of giving in layman's terms some idea of what that term means?
It would be the ability to function, reason, make good decisions, perform activities, our day-to-day brain function of how we go through life.
Would you consider that to be the same type of issues as emotional issues as opposed to what you described?
I think that they can be very separate issues.
Did you say separate?
Yes, you can have one without the other.
When you have discussed these issues with my client, have you not?
I did ask her, actually, the on-call worker actually asked her and had the conversation with her about it, not myself.
So you weren't there?
I was not. I was told and read in my SAC was the contact from.
Would
That
it be
conversation.
fair to say that you have not discussed the concept of cognitive impairments with this woman?
I didn't per se exactly ask for cognitive impairments. I asked her if there were any reasons why she had Social Security, trying to ask if there were a disability, in which she didn't, to be honest, she didn't answer two of my questions. And then the other, she indicated her Social Security was not disability, and it was because her father died.
Do you think it would be advisable if you or someone in your position were to explain in as plain English as possible what the concern is? With cognitive impairments?
I believe a medical staff would have to explain, because it is not my expertise. However, it is something that we would like to have assessments done for, to really just get to the bottom of the question.
Well, it appears you believe the issue is threatening enough that you have the authority to remove this child from these two, isn't that right?
Medical staff indicate that it is a major concern. We then listen to medical staff and their concerns because that is their area of expertise.
Has there been any parenting time plan created at this point in time, or have they simply not seen their child?
It has only been since, I believe, around 8 o'clock last night. It is the plan that when court is finished today to come up with the plan.
So what is the current parenting time plan?
There currently is not one. We will be discussing that after the hearing.
After this hearing? When after this hearing?
I believe immediately after the foster care worker is here.
All right, well, it's 4:25. Are you saying by, say, 5 o'clock, there will be a visitation plan, or are you
There-
not saying that?
Based on the court's rulings, we will have the discussions after our hearing.
Have you discussed with my client's mother, the lady who apparently is the lady sitting behind me, whether she is a suitable candidate to take care of this child?
We did discuss whether or not she would be interested in guardianship, which she indicated that she would. However, there would be concerns because she does not seem to share the same concerns that we do regarding the parent's ability. In some instances, she agrees, but then in other instances, there are major questions as to whether the parents would be unsupervised with the child, etc.
To your knowledge, does this child have any special needs?
Not that I know of.
I have no further questions.
Ms. Underwood?
Ms. Harvey, have you been able to observe whether the parents have purchased any baby items such as a crib or bassinet or car seat for the child?
I do know that they worked with Care Pregnancy Center. There is a bassinet in their home. There are a few outfits. I saw 2 boxes of diapers and 2 containers of baby wipes, and some bottles. I believe that they also have WIC for formula.
Okay. And
I-
Miss Lomas's the mother you indicated is in town, but she resides in Washington. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Is there any knowledge as to how long she will be remaining in the state of Michigan?
No, I do not know. I asked, because there were indications that they would all be going back to Washington State. I received different answers, sometimes 3 to 6 months, sometimes as soon as the baby is able to travel. There really wasn't an indication on that. I don't believe that there is a set date that she is going back to Washington State.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Any recross, gentlemen?
No,
No,
Thank you for your testimony. Your next witness, Ms. Thomas?
I have no other witnesses, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
I would like to call the maternal grandmother.
Ma'am?
Ma'am,
Patty? Lomas, come on up to our witness.
squeeze through here, please. Squeeze through here.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Step here, be careful when you get up there.
All right, is your full name Patty? Or is it Patricia?
Patty.
All right, could you scoot up to our microphone? That's that little black thing right there.
Last name right.
Yes, could you spell your first and last name, please?
PADDYLOMAS.
Thank you.
Ma'am, could you speak up just a little bit louder? There's a vent right over my head.
Yes,
Thank you. Is it true that you are currently residing with both mom and dad?
yes, yes, it is.
Your Honor, it's not gonna work. She's gonna have to speak louder.
Pretend like I'm on the back door with you could shout.
Okay,
Are you living with mom and dad right now?
yes, I am.
Okay. If, do you have any plans to return to Washington immediately?
No.
Do you want to be considered for placement of the child?
I would like that, yes.
If the court determines that parents cannot live with you, would you find someplace in Adrian to live by yourself?
I would.
Okay. Next question would be, if the court instructs that the parents cannot visit with you, that has to be in another supervised setting, would you abide by that? Would you follow the court order?
I will.
Do you have any criminal history? Have you ever been convicted of any crimes?
No,
Have you ever been investigated by Child Protective Services?
No.
Have you ever been investigated by Adult Protective Services?
No.
And would you be able to live here as long as necessary? Let's say if this case was open for 14 months, would you be able to stay here for that period of time?
I will.
How long do you think it would take you to actually find a place of your own?
I don't know the area and I don't know how, the availability of places, but I will start doing that right now, right away.
Okay. Let me ask you, do you have any Indian blood in your family line, either your family, your father, or your mother's?
On my mother's side, yes.
Okay, and what Native American tribe might that be?
I don't know. I just know we have some native.
Is there anybody alive who would know what Native American heritage that is?
My mother passed away.
Okay, well, thank you for letting us know. No further questions.
Mr. Brooks?
Ma'am, do you consider the state of Washington your home?
Yes, right now,
How long have you lived there?
since 2006.
2006. Were you born and raised there?
No,
Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Mexico.
All right. And you've lived in Washington since 2006?
Correct.
And before that, where did you live?
I lived in the state of California, the state of Arizona, Nevada. I lived in Michigan. That's where Jackie was born, 1998, 2004, I believe.
So in 2006, you lived in a number of different states.
And 2006, I lived in Washington.
Thank you. Are you married or single?
I'm widow. My husband passed away.
You're a widow.
Yes.
Do you have any other children who live with you?
No.
Do you have any, and I don't want to get too personal, but do you have anyone else who lives with you?
Anyone?
Anyone else who lives with you?
My granddaughter lived with me and I think she moved out of the house last week. She's 20.
Permanently?
Yes.
Do you work?
I don't.
You've heard all of the testimony about the allegations of cognitive impairment that have been thrown around here, have you not?
Yes, I heard.
Are you aware of what that means?
Yes.
Tell me.
Well, that they believe that Jackie is not capable of taking care of her child, which I can agree with that because she has been babysat before. And she has done a good job. She cares, she's a very caring person. And she's very, very responsible in that respect. I understand she's got some medication that she's taking. And I think she's, that is, has some side effects as of maybe sleepy or drowsy or something to that effect. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm thinking that's happening, except, and another thing is that they don't have much social life, so when you're isolated, you tend to be more quiet, you know.
How far did your daughter go in school?
She graduated from high school.
Did she graduate?
Yes, she did.
Has she had any schooling beyond high school?
Yes, she has been going to school, college.
How far did she get in that?
She was just taking general classes. No, nothing yet.
And how long was she engaged in that?
How long did she go to school after?
After high school, right?
I did like a couple of semesters.
To your knowledge, did she pass her classes in college?
Most of them.
Most of them. There you go. Let me ask you one last simple question. How many kids have you got?
3.
I guess I have 2 questions. Are you capable, in your opinion, of taking care of this infant child?
Very, very capable.
I have nothing further.
Ms. Underwood?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Okay. Prior testimony indicated that you were the payee for Jackie's Social Security. Is that correct?
yes, I am.
How much does she receive on a monthly basis?
Around 1,400.
And what is the reason for that Social Security?
When she started getting Social Security since she was born, based on my husband being older and retired, and when he passed away, he passed away when she was 4 years old, actually. So we started getting survivor's benefits since then, her and I.
Okay, so are those benefits named for Jackie or are they named for you?
Well, some are for her and some are for me. So
And-
we both get.
Do you provide her with those benefits so she can use them for living expenses?
Yes, I do.
And how long do you intend to be in Michigan for?
For as long as it takes for everything to be clear and good for my daughter to have her baby back.
And then do you intend on returning to Washington?
Well, beyond that, I don't see a reason to be here for them either to be here because they have no family, nobody around. So their family is in the West Coast, in Washington, in California.
Are you concerned with the father of the child's behaviors?
Am I concerned?
Yes.
Well, what I have seen is that since I've been here, he was taking care of Jackie when she was having a lot of getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and but because she was in the last phase, she was going to the bathroom a lot. Yes, she was nervous. She was concerned because she had never been pregnant before, and with your first pregnancy, it's always worrisome. I mean, I remember.
Ma'am, I
Oh,
was
my
asking
God.
you about the father's behavior, not the mother's concerns.
Oh,
Can you limit your testimony? I asked if you're concerned with the behaviors of the father.
well, so far not. I mean, he sometimes raises his voice because I think he gets excited and he wants to be heard. But I have heard other people doing the same thing, you know, like they want to be heard, so they raise their voice, but well, I don't think so in the overall.
What was the condition of the home before you cleaned it?
It wasn't picked up that good, but because I gathered that Jackie has been not feeling well. And Dakota was taking care of her a lot. So I came for that reason, to help, to make sure, you know, they got some, not just help in the house, but with, you know, Jackie needed somebody, you know, mother, sister, somebody more close than, you know, somebody that had been pregnant before, somebody to, she had a lot of questions, so she would be asking me a lot of questions, and I would be there to help her. And that's what I
Oh,
did.
ma'am, I'm going to ask the
Support.
question again. What was the condition of the home before you cleaned it?
Well, it wasn't well cleaned, like what I'm saying, it is that, you know,
Was there trash lying around the home?
there was things around the house, like, you know, a couple of bags of garbage that needed to be, you know, thrown away, and a couple of boxes, you know, here and there, but that was picked up right away. I mean,
How long did it take you to clean the home?
how long?
Yes.
Well, between Dakota and I, Jackie didn't help because she couldn't do it, but we just cleaned here and there, you know, you do the kitchen, I do the dishes, and just did whatever had to be done to be in perfect condition.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Honor. Ms. Lomas, you indicated that you are the payee for your daughter's Social Security income. Can you explain why you are a payee or why she needs one?
Well, because we got it that way since the first day she got it. She was a minor, she was a baby, a child. When her father passed away, so it has been under, she gets her check under my name ever since then. And I thought that since getting together with, you know, others, she would be able to focus on, you know, paying her things, her own things, instead of I don't know, it just stayed like that under my name.
Okay. And did she have any special education services when she was a youth, like an IEP?
She did, but I'm going to tell you why. When she was in, when her father passed away, she was 4. And we were barely moving from Michigan. And so we were left, we sold the house in Michigan and we went to Arizona. And then my husband went to Mayo Clinic, to Minnesota to get, because he had cancer. And I was,
Ma'am, I don't think we need a full explanation here. I just was wondering if she did receive any educational services when she was in school, and you answered affirmatively, correct?
okay, so she didn't go to school. I didn't want to let her go anywhere. She was, because we're mourning her dad's death.
Okay.
So she didn't go to school there until she was 6 and a half. And that's when we went to Washington. And we saw this church, and it was a Catholic school, and it was a nice place, and I said, we're gonna move here, she's gonna go to this school, and that's when she started school. So they put her in kindergarten instead of first grade, because she had never been to school. Even though she knew, you know, how to count and the basic things, you know, few things here and there, but. So they put her in kindergarten, so we're kind of behind. Now,
Okay.
she got
Ms. Lomas, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we are, the court is closed, and so I just wanted to confirm about the IEP. And with that, I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, counselors, I would be inclined to adjourn today's preliminary hearing and take it back up on Friday, August 30th, to allow the department to thoroughly investigate the home, to investigate the placement request by this relative who clearly has placement priority, assuming she passes a background check and has an appropriate environment for her grandchild. Your thoughts?
My client's agreeable to that, Your Honor. Was that this Friday, or you say the 30th?
The 30th.
Yeah, that's fine.
In the meantime, the child would stay in the placement, but the department has the authority and has placement. So in the event that this relative is able to show us that she's an appropriate caregiver and has a safe environment, I would expect the department to be utilizing that and moving the child even before we came back. So with that, Ms. Thomas, I would look for any arguments or objections on that point.
No, Your Honor, we would be agreeable to that. I believe that when the petition was filed, it was Ms. Harvey's understanding that Ms. Lomas would be returning to Washington. As she testified, there was no clear indication of her intent to stay. So that was not explored. And obviously the living environment would also need to be explored as well. So I have no objections to that, and can join at any time on the 30th.
Ms. Underwood, I look forward to your thoughts on this, as well as your opinion on what would serve the best interest of this child at this point.
Your Honor, I believe that based on the testimony given so far today, that the child remaining in foster care at this point is in his best interest until we can further navigate placement with maternal grandmother. I do have some concerns. However, I trust that the department will fully investigate those and ensure that if the child were to be placed with maternal grandmother, that it would be in a safe environment. But at this time, if there is going to be any sort of parenting time, I would ask that it be supervised by a professional at this time.
Mr. McFarland?
Well, I said I had no disagreement with an adjournment. Was there another issue?
Supervised parenting time until we come back, or DHS otherwise verifies that it's safe to have one or more of these parents with this child unsupervised, given the allegations in the petition at this time.
I've discussed that, and as opposed to no parenting time, we agree with that. We'd also like to have maternal grandmother have parenting time, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks?
Well, one of the questions I asked earlier was, once the hearing is done, can we have a schedule by 5 o'clock? And the witness said, yeah, we can probably get that done. And so I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to be back here on Friday and nobody's put their heads together and given us anything, which has happened so frequently in these cases.
It'll be next Friday, and the department's going home with a list of homework, including to investigate Ms. Patty Lomas as far as her request for placement. She's a relative, she has priority. Investigate where she's at, and give her the opportunity to find a different safe place if she so chooses to, in order to secure placement. To develop a parenting schedule that would allow for both parents to have some supervised parenting time and allow this grandmother to see her child or grandchild as well. To begin the investigation into the potential Native American heritage. Am I missing anything, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
I am anticipating some sort of parenting time between now, hopefully, and Friday, and certainly by a week from Friday.
I would expect that as well. I know there are transportation issues with the family, but it sounds like the child is relatively local. And there are some resources and a family member here, so I would also expect.
Thank you.
What time was that on the 30th you're proposing?
10:30?
My client's fine by that.
10:30 a.m. on August 30th.
One question in addition, Your Honor. I anticipate that there's probably medical appointments for this child in the interim, where clients be able to participate by Zoom or at least getting information as a result of these appointments.
I don't see why they wouldn't be allowed the information as far as the appointments go or anything else. I'll leave that to the department to organize that. And it's somewhat going to depend also on how cooperative the parents are with the department at this point. There are some concerning things in this petition, which is why I authorize removal. So as long as the parents are being respectful, and I understand it's a difficult situation, but as long as you're being respectful to the department, I expect the department to be respectful back, and you all be able to work together in the best interest of this child. All right, then we're gonna recess for the day. The removal order will remain in place given the allegations in the petition. You've heard me on the rest of it, and we'll see you back here Friday the 30th at 10:30 in the morning. That's all for today.
Presumption we will not be in order.
Your Honor, is it possible to appear via Zoom for that hearing? I do have a scheduled vacation that day.
Yes.
I'll be out of town. Okay.
We appreciate you taking the time to appear.
So you have that written down?
Thank you, Judge.